I'm going to talk to you guys today. This is the second podcast I've ever done. My first was The Dark Tower by Stephen King, and it wasn't quite polished. It was just thrown together thoughts, ideas, unstructured. It was just a jumbled mess. So today I actually wrote down some quick dot points. So I'll probably keep this 10 less minutes to get you excited. Okay, so Fargo, if anyone doesn't know, it's a 95, I think, mid-90s movie starring Frances McDormand and William H. Macy, written and directed, I think, by the Coen brothers. The Coen brothers have done so many movies. They've done True Grit, the remake, No Country for Old Men, Burn After Reading, Barton Fink, The Big Lebowski. Come on, if you hadn't seen that, get some knowledge behind you. So, yeah, Fargo is set in a place called Fargo. It's a location in America. I believe it's North Dakota. Just want to be correct on that. It might be south. But the whole movie / the TV show is set up in those areas, in those barren, snowed-in sort of areas, very bleak winters. So, also in Minnesota, places you hear about Sioux Falls, Bemidji, as you go throughout the season. It's a dark comedy, drama type thing. The movie. A briefcase is found by a ordinary citizen in the snow. Inside the briefcase is money. So, some bad guys, they want to collect like a bookie. Anyway, so that's Fargo, but I'm here to talk about season 1, 2, and 3.
So, Fargo season 1, 2, and 3 have different stories that are slightly interconnected with each other. A-list cast, so you've got, throughout all the seasons, you have different characters per season. Characters you'll see is you've got Ewan McGregor, Martin Freeman, Billy Bob Thornton, Ted Danson, Patrick Wilson, Kirsten Dunst, David Thewlis, Joaquin Woodbine, Angus Sampson, Aussie, he's in it, season 2. Really good. So, to explain why this show is legit is because of characters and dialogue and the mystique. The whole thing not making sense to simpletons. These characters are devious, wicked, manipulative. They are uninformed, naive, morons, plebs. It's called plebs. I love that word. I use it a lot. And some of the characters that absolutely stand out to me are Martin Freeman, David Thewlis, Joaquin Woodbine. And you could throw Billy Bob Thornton in there. He was exceptional. Like, you really see how sinister people are when you sit them down, you ask them questions, you probe, you analyse, you just nag at them, and you realise they're not that friendly. They're actually satanic. Well, pure evil. There was one moment in season 3, David Thewlis plays this guy called Ian Vargas. He comes into the office, Ewan McGregor's invited him, he's with his associate, and he's like, hey man, I really appreciate the money you lent us. We're going to pay back with interest. Done. So this guy, David Thewlis' character, Ian Vargas, just sits down and is like, fellas, you invested in us. Or we invested in you and you just don't know what's happening here. And he just looks at Ewan McGregor looks at his associate who's a lawyer and he's just like, what the fuck is going on? Maybe we should lock our doors. It's like Hans Landa and the Jew at the start of Inglourious Basterds, that tightening of the string until it snaps, till you realise that this is not a friendly meet and greet, this is a torture method. It's brutal.
Season 2 was amazing. Like Kirsten Dunst, who I don't think is a great actress,
don't realise how miserable she is.
She's drawn into a world of deceit, murder, and things like that, and all her mind is just brainwashed by Hollywood movies and just living a fantasy in her mind and being pulled against her will by her husband, who just wants to go down a certain family avenue, and that for her to just accept it without taking on any sort of career and stuff. It's like, no, hun, no, we can't do that. So, anyway, the characters are, oh man, they are layered, to say it lightly. Oh man, they are stellar. Just fucking blows you away. Martin Freeman, Jesus Christ, he ain't no Bilbo Baggins. This is the complete opposite of Bilbo Baggins. So, yeah, and the story woven throughout each of the season 1, 2, 3 is just elaborate. You've got things like they use the tropes. So they got idealistic cops. You got eccentric bad guys. You've got weaving in philosophy, the Reagan administration, and patriotism in America. And then you've got this post-war bigotry towards, like Native Americans and not identifying in these badlands, these very forgotten sort of places of America that are so far from commercial, big-time, engine-like cities that actually fought alongside the white man side by side to defeat a common enemy. Yeah, and there's a suppression of anger, fear, and there's also the great unknown about events that happen around, especially with season 1. You get little tidbits of info that says, Jesus Christ, you have no idea what happened in this event called Sioux Falls, and there was a massacre, which later you get a bit more. You have to keep watching season 2 and 3 to find out, but it's just fascinating. Billy Bob and this guy in the diner just sit down at the end of season 1, they just talk, and it's so riveting the way they're talking, and it's like no one else is in the universe. They're just sitting there, and it's like the world stands still. Like, these events have shaped existence, or what they know as existence in these forgotten areas. Anyway, it's just fascinating how they throw in paranoia about UFOs as well. Because during the Reagan administration, there were supposed CIA meetings held in bunkers, UFO sightings and stuff, and all sorts of creepy tests the government did and stuff. So they weave that in just to create a little bit of supernatural elements, which works well. Like, surprising you could just have it as a throwaway, but it actually, season 2, it's really fascinating because of the fact that you're dealing with, I think, the 60s or the 70s, when that height of paranoia and fear were rife. I love it. It was one of the best TV shows I've ever seen for drama. I'm talking like Seinfeld. I love Seinfeld. That's my favourite show. But anyway, it goes beyond what Game of Thrones does, where it pads out stuff, and this is pure storytelling. And yeah, basically the dialogue is phenomenal. The characters, you've got the idealists, you've got the bad guys, and the idealists having to confront the reality that, they're law enforcers, like they're cops, but their chief doesn't want to get involved in things. It's kind of like our government in Australia. Like, everyone's talking, but not actually solving the problem. Like the, gay rights thing. Just put it to bed. Give them equality and just talk about something else. Fucking Korea is going to bomb us and shit. Like, worry about World War 3. So anyway. Yeah, but you have elements that fight against simpletons, and they have absolutely no idea what to do because they want a simple mainstream sort of life, and conflicting elements come into it and just they fall apart, and they would just handball it off to someone else. Whereas you've got these smart, driven people that test the dullards who are put in command of the task force or the police, and I'm like, what's the point, man? Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up in a sec. I just wanted to highlight that I absolutely love the score of the music for Fargo. I'll put it in my little clip. It's eloquent with the violin, soothing to listen to as it builds to a really amazing crescendo that's just straight epic. And I just wanted to leave off with some lines, some quotes, some little things that these people say. So it's a very cultural sort of a show that delves into language and pronunciation and stuff. Like, I'll just rifle a few things off. I was just thought these were really cool. So I was like, oh geez, heck, you know, hun, and the lake, yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening.